we cannot remain as dependent on foreign oil as we have been for a long, long time and as we currently are. And the answer, the long-term answer, has to be increased reliance on alternative and renewable sources of energy, and it's why the Congress in August of 2007 passed legislation that both increased or mandated an increase in minimum fuel efficiency standards for cars and light trucks, first increase in over 30 years, and also created something called a Renewable Fuel Standard, which would require the production of 36 billion gallons of biofuels by the year 2020. It's important to notice this. The Energy Policy Act of 2005, which was an energy policy act that was written largely in the executive suites of the big five oil companies and in the vice president's office, is really what is guiding energy policy or guided energy policy for a long, long time. The Department of Energy said at the time that law was not going to have any influence on reducing price and was likely going to increase price. We are now reaping the windfall, put that word in quotes, of that very flawed law, which I voted against. We're now trying to change the direction. That law was all about drilling. Drill, 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 nothing for conservation, very little for renewables, very little for alternatives. We're now trying to change the conversation and change the direction of public policy to take us away from a policy that's based on drilling and put us more into a policy that's based on a much more future-oriented energy policy.
Well, you're always walking into the unknown with all of this, though. Everyone has to admit that. Look what happened with ethanol. There was pretty much, were you in favor of the ethanol initiative?
And I remain in favor of cellulosic ethanol. Corn-based ethanol, there's no question, had impacts that I think were perhaps should have been anticipated, but were not. We're now backing away from that. The Farm Bill that we just passed reduces the subsidy for corn-based ethanol, increases the subsidy for cellulosic ethanol, increases the subsidy for sugar-based ethanol. That's the direction in which we need to move our energy policy.
Yeah, because that had a terrible impact on world food prices. It's even being blamed for causing starvation in many places. And, of course, we're all paying for it at the supermarket. And yet we don't see any reduction in energy prices.
But it is estimated, though, that our gasoline prices at the pump would be 40 to 50 cents per gallon higher had we not made the estimate, had we not made the investment in ethanol that we've made.
Well, then where is the alternative that you see right now? What is the most promising area of research?
It's got to be a bunch of things. It has to be increased reliance on biofuels. It has to be increased reliance on solar and on tidal. We have to. I think Senator McCain is on the right track to develop a battery that has the capacity to allow cars to go long distances. I believe